Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
And here's Jay, and I are the producer here of this show, the Educated Retirement Radio, here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. Wasn't that a great guest with Dr. Wade Fowle last week? We've got a couple of guests a little bit later talking about healthcare from a lot of different angles and directions. And we'll get to that. I'll give you a hint right now who that might be from. But remember, www.drhecm, Dr. Heckham, drhecm.com. And that is where you'll find all kinds of information on the reverse mortgage, the home equity conversion mortgage, lots of information. There'll be there is a link to this to watching the show live if you're outside the KMET zone. KMET also has its own website and way to listen to these shows and video pods. Anyway, so when you're there on YouTube, please subscribe. Also, there's a lot of great information on there, on that site, written by a little by me, mostly by great experts. And my phone number, 866-955-2233. One more time, 866-955-2233. And yeah, I have a day job at the Loan Source. NMLS number 384565, DRE number 792630. And a quick reminder, as you recall, the other day I was talking about a book, a couple of times, by the most esteemed elder care attorney, Susan B. Geffen. That book is called Take That Nursing Home and Shove It. I don't think I had shown the cover before, but it's a pretty good cover. It's a great name, and there can't be a better time to focus in on this kind of thing than right now. Well, here's an alternate cover. I think, I'm not sure about this one. I haven't seen that one, but so be it. Go to Amazon. Go to SusanBGeffen.com. Get prepared. So remember, over 70% of our population believes that health care, long-term health care, is covered by their current Medicare. It is not. Today is Boston Cream Pie Day. And I wanted to celebrate that by eating some, but we didn't get any in time. It is the official Massachusetts dessert, created in 1856 by a French chef at the Parker House Hotel, which I believe is even more famous for Parker House rolls. I guess it'd be the same one. And I'm not talking about the rolls that I just lost by losing so much weight. October is National Cookbook Month. Now, I like to pride myself as a, well, I'm not a chef by any means, but I do like to cook. So the idea for this day or this month is to get away from the internet for recipes and go to books. And books are available on pizza, barbecue, curries, community cookbooks. Those by well-known chefs, soups, pet food, and even magic spells. So I'm going to show you a few that I use. Here's a Wolfgang. Now, some of these are older, but, you know, there's so many recipes. Who needs to keep going and going? The couple in there that come to mind most of all would be the peppercorn steak and the, he has a thing with lamb chops and scallions. What do you call those things? Yeah, and white beans or whatever. Hey, we all know this guy. can't tell you why he's not associated, or he seems to be. Here's one insert here, with the Food Channel anymore, but so be it. Uh, Now, this guy here, Jeremiah Towers. We first discovered this guy when my wife and I were walking in San Francisco, I don't know, 30 years ago, 27 years ago, whatever. And it was this black and white ball, which was kind of cool. Didn't know anything about it. We found this little neon sign above a doorway in an alley, and all of a sudden we walked in. We were in a huge, cavernous, very noisy restaurant. And anyway, this is Jeremiah Towers, got very famous. He's still a famous name. And what's his name? Just did a movie about him. Anthony Bourdain just did a movie, or produced a movie about Jeremiah Towers' life, and I guess now it's going to be time for a Anthony Bourdain movie. But you could tell from the other books I showed you, I do like Cajun and Creole cooking quite a bit. The only recipe that really works for me or with me for gumbo is Jeremiah Towers, and I'm not saying it's a better recipe or anything like that, but it's what works with me. Here's my go-to book for pizza, and of course, who doesn't remember this guy? But anyway, here's just real quick. Here's an example of an area cookbook, and again, this is River Road, which is Louisiana. And my wife wants me to show you what she was using, and her mother, I think, back a while ago. And these individual cards, you would get these recipe cards when you got gas, beef stew. Well, it goes on, but you remember S&H green stamps? You could get these also. So moving on, again, this is from Shannon Hicks from Reverse Focus. I just thought it's really important to bring this out. Is it, and I'm going to be reading, so forgive me here, but and a lot of it is from him. Is it time to take your winnings off the table? You know how hard that can be, and that would be a financial. And what would a financial planner say if you had all of your investment cash in one stock? Even if you were making a lot of profit from that one stock, it's not always that way. Today, maybe many older homeowners are overinvested in their homes, especially when you consider that such investment as your equity is not liquid. The truth is, home equity is just an illusion on paper until it is separated from the home. We all know that equity tied up in the bricks and mortar of a home is not safe or secure all the time. There are two choices to separate that equity from the home. One is to sell the home and perhaps right size, or use a great tool like a reverse mortgage to age in place. And no, you are not taking a lot of equity. You are making it liquid. You know what happened to home prices in the past, and what do you think is going to happen to home prices in 2021? I'd really like to hear from some people. Many people, myself probably included, although I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, I'm happy my house is increasing in value, but many people see the employment situation as the main event to steer that in the not too distant future. So, home equity makes a great conversation, but it's meaningless unless you do something about it. And I'll continue this at another time. We've got a lot of other things. I just want to remind you that you are listening to The Educated Retirement with Jay Kaplan here on 1490 KMET AM radio, 866-955-2233. And it is Johnny Carson's birthday today. He was born in 1925, and he left us, unfortunately, in 2005. So he started his career for entertaining at age 12 by finding a book on magic at a friend's house and ordered a mail order magician's kit. His first appearances were at the Kiwanis Club, the local one, with a cape sewn by his mother, and he performed as the great Carsoni. At 14 years old, that was, and he got paid $3 per show. He then worked as a movie usher, sold newspaper subscriptions door to door, and wrote a humor column in his high school newspaper. It is said that he hitchhiked to Hollywood and was arrested and fined $50 for impersonating a midshipman. And early in his career, he worked as a ventriloquist and a drummer. He was also a big-time amateur astronomer, like we are here, except I can't pick up the telescope anymore. It's too heavy. Anyway, his first big break was filling in for Rita Hayworth during a magic show given by Orson Welles for the military, and he let Orson cut him in half. The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson lasted from 1962 to 1992, which is 30 years. And of course, who can forget Karnak, the what?
Magnificent.
Magnificent, yeah, because I are magnificent. So I want anything but that comes last, remember? Anything. Anyway, what's your name? Oh, Ed. Yeah, Ed. You know, get a. So the answer is supervisor. Supervisor. Okay. Okay. What does Clark Kent wear to keep the sun out? Supervisor. Okay. He got 12 months.
He got 12 months.
Thanks, Ed. Did you hear about the crook that stole a calendar? Not bad. Not bad. Moses. The answer is Moses.
Moses.
Moses supposes. Okay. Who had the first tablet that could connect to the cloud? That's a good one. Gotta admit. Now, the answer is HECM, HECM, or home equity conversion, otherwise misrepresented as the reverse, but let's see. What is the most misunderstood yet most secure loan for older homeowners? Of course, the HECM. And the last one for today, because we're really stretching the cosmos out here. Absolutely nothing. The answer is absolutely nothing. And how much does it cost to have a HECM consultation with Jay? That would be me. And the answer is?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Now, we're moving on to Sam Raimi, who was born in 1959, a film director, producer, and screenwriter who also started when his father bought him an 8mm camera. He started making movies with his high school friend, Bruce Campbell. How would you like to know Bruce Campbell in high school? I don't know if Bruce had his famous yellow 1973 Delta 88 Oldsmobile yet, but he probably did. I'll probably show one picture now, and then we'll get into it a little bit better here in a minute or two. But through friends, family, and investors, he was able to create his first film, the now classic Evil Dead, and I love that movie. And it's because there's so much humor in it too. It can be scary, but my God, it's great. He co-wrote with the unknown Coen brothers several other projects, then returned to do Evil Dead 2, and the rest is history. With such movies as Army of Darkness. That came before. Let me, you know what? Give me this here. I should have shown this before. And there it is. That's a really cool. Oh, we should take it out of it. But that it's supposed to look like the Namacron from what, Lovecraft, and there it is. Army. Let me show you this. We haven't even opened this yet. We've got a couple of versions, and I have a Japanese version, which I think has a much better ending than the one that was stuck on here for the U.S. audience, but sometimes called Evil Dead 2. No, it's Evil Dead 3. Then there was Darkman, and Evil Dead 2 is right here. Then there was Darkman, and we couldn't find it, but I love Darkman. And one thing, this is way before any of us were born, but I always thought that the Bat Whispers was really something that that he watched prior to doing, that Sam Raimi really took a lot from that film, and I would highly recommend trying to look back for it. Then there was A Simple Plan, garnering several Academy Award nominations. Spider-Man, I think he did 1, 2, and 4, which grossed over 800 million for the first one. And there's some spidery stuff for us there. But remember, the reason probably that it made so much money is because Spider-Man's uncle, which was played by, I forget, I don't know exactly who it is. I see him in front of me. Anyway, his car that was parked in the driveway and that they were driving in once in a while was Bruce Campbell's yellow Oldsmobile. And let me show you a picture of Bruce, if you can see that. I think we can. Driving that Oldsmobile. There's another shot of it. It became a good luck charm for Sam Raimi and the whole film crew and everybody that's connected with it. Bruce Campbell just did that Evil versus Bruce Campbell, or whatever the name was, for I think it was Amazon. In any case, here is if you can see it, it says groovy, which was one of the sayings he had in that movie. I don't know if we can actually see it or not, but that probably doesn't help. Anyway, Drag Me to Hell was on yesterday, I think, and I saw that it was listed as the best horror movie of 2009. If you haven't seen it, you should. It is really good. And he was producer of the Grudge franchise. You know what? I liked the Japanese one. And I guess Netflix now has a Japanese series based on that. So here is this one. I can't watch. I bought it, but it's not for this country. And there is the one I can watch, Ju-on. Okay, so with that, this day in history is coming up, and we're going to have NASA Nelly one more time. Okay, NASA Nelly, let me grab what I need to grab here, and we'll let Nelly start.
Now, in 1954, we were watching Creature of the Black Lagoon, Them, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Dial M for Murder. But on October 27th, thousands of Italians were watching something quite different. It was on this day, football fans in Tuscany, Italy, witnessed
now, that would be their kind of football, not our kind, right?
Exactly.
And here's what they look like now. Go back, Nelly, have at it.
The fans witnessed a sight truly out of this world. In the middle of the local football game, all action literally stopped as spectators in the stands were not watching the football. They were looking up towards the sky and pointing at several cigar-shaped objects flying over the stadium while shedding silver glittered type material down to earth. The crowd and players were stunned. A journalist from Florentine newspaper, Giorgio Battini, received hundreds of calls about the incident. He immediately began his investigation and found this glittery type stuff all over. Homes and streets were covered like snow, but it wasn't snow. He gathered samples and took them to the Institute of Chemical Analysis at the University of Florence. The lab's scientists' conclusion through spectrographic analysis was that the material contained elements that were not the webs made by spiders, which some had speculated. It was unlike anything from this Earth. Many similar UFO sightings followed for weeks all over Europe, mainly France and northern Italy. The witnesses of the event at that stadium to this day still feel that those cigar-shaped vehicles maneuvered under some sort of intelligence and were extraterrestrial.
Well, thank you for that international report from NASA, Nellie. We are about to take a break. Do not go away. We will be right back with some representatives, Arnold and another representative, owner, franchisee, I believe, from 1Heart, which is the this premier in-home care company. And we'll let Sean take it away, let our advertisers have a chance at it, and please don't go away. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the Educated Retirement. You know, sometimes Ron is my lender too. What can I say? I'm going to be on his show this Thursday, and he'll probably be on mine a week or two after that. Anyway, I just want to remind you the phone number to call in to ask either of these gentlemen questions about anything related to healthcare is 951-922-3532. And let me, now I don't think these guys are shy, but I'm going to say something about them anyway. Kaplan Gassari is the Chief Executive Officer, and we're talking about, guess what we're talking about here, okay? And he's been a senior care industry for some time and has extensive background in entrepreneurship as well as owning companies and forming them. He was the first one to join the 1Heart Caregiver Services franchise family in March of 2015. Boy, you guys have really grown in 5 years. And established a new office in Beverly Hills later that year. I don't know whether that's his first or his second, but we'll ask him. Since that time, Cameron, and please tell me if I'm pronouncing the names wrong for any reason, because I know Arnold a lot more. Anyway, he developed his 1Heart agency as a reliable premium care provider to the community and is passionate about providing the best care for seniors, and also has been volunteering his time and energy in several different causes to improve their quality of life. And Arnold Navarro is a managing director, or the managing director, and of 1Heart Caregiver Services, Newport Beach. And he worked at 1Heart Caregiver Services head office as senior client care manager. I think that's the first. No, I think the first time Arnold and I met was probably at a Susan Geffen. Remember, take that nursing home and shove it. And then when I did visit their office before it had moved, and regional, he was regional liaison in all associated, assigned competitive markets, and was responsible for all respective cross-functional teamwork. And boy, that not only a mouthful. That's a lot of work. So he implements the company's Circle of Care unique concept, performing as a senior advisory in a senior, is what it should be saying, between elder clients, their family members, and conservators and trustees. And I imagine also that includes fiduciaries. He manages and monitors particularly well in a periodic way every case process and caregivers' work performance to consistently provide excellent senior care. Arnold regularly performs a training facilitator to provide training to attendees of 1Heart Caregiver University, which is how they teach their people because they are so professional, and on the job training to caregivers. And that's kind of a cue for me to bring this up, which we will hopefully talk about and be able to invite people to. And see, there's even a picture of me before I lost my 80 pounds, and even Arnold won't recognize how skinny I am.
Yes.
So he's 27 years he's had of solid corporate experience, including 18 years of experience in various senior management and directorship positions. So I will. I want to just get on to these fellows themselves, because I don't think I can do as much justice as they can to themselves. So I'll just say, for people who aren't familiar with 1Heart, and as you can see, I am. We're going to get into the services that you do, the challenges you have, and all of those good things. So I'll let you guys and pick between yourselves who wants to start introducing themselves.
Go. Okay, maybe I can start. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Arnold Navarro. I've worked for 1Heart corporate office for 14 years, and now I co-own the 1Heart Newport Beach together with our first franchisee and our number one franchisee, Cameron Gas.
Mm-hmm. It looks like, I don't know, Sean. Is Arnold's face cut off there?
No, I think that's Cameron.
No. Okay, I was just on my monitor then. Well, tough.
Do you have my video or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, you're looking
because I
good.
was doing all sorts of things.
Yeah, you guys are making me look old.
Yes.
Yes, I know you agreed with that right away, didn't you? I don't blame you. Anyway, gentlemen, go ahead and introduce yourselves and get going on our subject today: home health care, perhaps a little bit about franchising, and that kind of all of that good stuff we all need to talk about, especially in this weird time that we are living in.
So my name is Cameron Gasry, as you just said, and I acquired the franchise. I was the first one to acquire the franchisee right for 1Heart Caregiver Services in 2015. And of course, I remember at that time, Arnold was the CCM and was extremely helpful to us in all sorts of training me and my client care managers and our caregivers. And so far, we did okay. So far, I was happy with the support I was getting from the home office. And I guess some months ago, June or July, we decided to go with Arnold to open the office in Newport Beach.
That's not too far. Now, do you have an ocean view?
I'm sorry?
How's your ocean view? I was just kidding.
I know. I was just. It's okay.
I used to have a very well, when I had like 300 people working for me at one time. We used to say our office was in Newport Beach. It was not. It was actually in Santa Ana Heights, which is surrounded by Newport Beach. But you guys are much more honest than I was.
Our office is in Newport Beach. You're more than welcome to come and have lunch.
I would love to, and I will as soon as I'm sure I can get around. You know, I had some health problems of my own, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yes.
So, let me know if, for people who are not real familiar with 1Heart Caregiver Services, can you kind of fill it? And you or Arnold, it doesn't matter. Remember, we're all in this conversation.
Yes.
So feel free to talk. Let's go over the excellent caregiver services that you do exactly.
Arnold, do you want to go ahead?
Okay. Okay. 1Heart Caregiver Services is a non-medical home care agency wherein we provide assistance to individuals that will be needing personal care services, from assisting them from toileting, bathing, grooming, dressing, errands, and whatever physical activity that will be able to provide them. And 1Heart Caregiver Services, we have our own caregiver university wherein we train our caregivers before they get to be deployed.
So it's not like going to Craigslist or finding a caregiver on the back of a cereal box, right?
No,
I mean,
it's
and you don't want to go to something like Craigslist. This is important. This is either for yourself or if it's for a loved family member or your parents. You want to make sure that they're in good hands. And another thing we can get into is what about those family members who are acting like caregivers, which maybe in some cases is great, in some cases is help, in some cases they don't know what they're doing, and they should have backup with a company like yours. But those people, they need to be relieved, don't they?
yes, of course.
Yes.
Cameron, please.
Yes, actually, we have been providing respite care
Yeah, your
for a lot
respite
of
care, good name
families,
for it.
because after a while it gets really tiring. So, and then they don't really think of, they see this as their own duty, the family members. So they have to provide care for mom or dad. But when they realize that there is a professional agency, somebody else can do it, it's a great relief for them. So we've experienced that they really appreciate, somebody take this weight off their shoulders.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of them live not close. For example, they live in LA. The parents is in Santa Ana, and they have to travel. They divide it between, the duty. They divide it between the kids. So yes, that's one of the things that we've been doing so far.
Yeah, the most important one that we could really provide family members is peace of mind. Just like Cameron mentioned, if ever a family member lives like 2 hours, 3 hours away, they have peace of mind that the parents are being taken care of by 1Heart Caregiver Services.
Yeah. Now let me get into it. Maybe this is in a way of a review or whatever, but and as far as talking about an office in Newport Beach or Beverly Hills or Riverside or whatever, none of that really matters. People have, I think, the same needs and the same health concerns everywhere. But just to try to drill in a little, what would you say the challenges of caring for seniors, and maybe as important for you or other people thinking about getting into this field, what's the real fulfillment that you feel for this kind of service, no matter where it is? And either one of you can chime in on that one.
Cameron?
You have to have the passion of helping others. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or say we are
But maybe
extraordinary
you
people,
should
but
brag a little. I mean, it's
but
hard work, isn't it?
yes, I mean, you have to be concentrated. You have to be dedicated to helping seniors. So that's, I mean, besides the business part, you have to be that type of person anyway. I mean, if you want, and remember, it's not like a 9 to 5 job. It's
No.
24-hour responsibility. So if you don't have the passion, you don't have the dedication, it's not going to work.
So
So
I
that's the
take it,
fulfillment in
yeah,
its own.
I take it some of your people actually are either that you have one person or you have two or three different shifts of people who actually take care of someone who needs 24-hour monitoring, do you?
Yes.
We do.
Yeah, and that's boy, that's a lot of well, that's great for the people that need the monitoring. A lot of work for you probably when it comes to even bookkeeping and all of that kind of thing. But if somebody has one of your franchises, uh, they get help with all of that, right?
Yes.
So they don't have to spend hours every night going over their accounting records and all of that kind of good stuff. And I think Arnold knows a little bit more about that and the university, right?
Yes. Actually, when I was a senior client care manager, I was also a field consultant for franchisee. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Field consultant of Cameron. That's why I know Cameron for the last 6 years, and some other franchisee like Las Vegas and South Bay area.
Yeah,
And Joel was still there in South Bay.
yeah. Uh, you know, this isn't one thing I think I've mentioned this so many times, I probably shouldn't again, but I really, really feel that old people, and I'm one of them, okay? Old people to survive retirement need to stay busy. And I'm sure there's probably some retired people that actually can call you and become part of your organization either as a caregiver or if you have the ability and the want to actually open your own 1Heart caregiving center or franchise, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the thing, but let me ask you, do you agree that keeping busy it does keep people healthier?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, and I think another thing is, and I don't want to get into reverse mortgages in your time here because we're limited in time, but the reverse mortgage can get money to make you to allow you to do that kind of thing, but also gives you a lot more freedom and some ways to handle these things. And importantly too, for a lot of people who need your services, they need to find ways to uh, pay for them. I don't want to get into that too much right now, but you guys can talk about this, and I'll be talking about that subject then. But before we go any further, let us know how people and listeners can get a hold of you, whether that's older people, younger people that need help with their older relatives or anything like that. How do we get a hold of you? Both phone numbers, email addresses, and maybe even, websites.
Yes. They can call me anytime at 949-942-2323, or they can email me at arnold.n as in Nancy at oneheartcares.com. And I'm available 24/7. I could set an appointment even Saturdays and Sundays.
And go ahead and repeat those numbers and information one more time. We'll do it again later, but later is getting sooner all the time. Just
Okay.
like we're getting older all the time and we need help. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, is 949-942-2323. My email address is arnold.n at oneheartcares.com. And they can call
Thank
me
you.
24/7.
Thank you, Arnold. Now I want to get into something really important if it's okay with you guys. We're living in a really strange time. This is a period of time. I don't know. I thought I would live long enough for people to be able to go to a hotel on Mars. I thought that, vacationing on the weekend on the moon would be no big thing.
With
But
your caregiver.
yeah, but I never, ever thought we'd be living through a pandemic like the COVID 19 pandemic that is here right now. So let's discuss, both of you guys and all of us, how that affects your business operations and how you keep your senior, clients and caregivers safe and protected during this difficult situation. And we can also talk about some tips you may have for just general public out there.
Cameron?
So we just have to adapt to the new abnormal.
Oh
So
boy, yeah.
we made sure that our caregivers are getting tested on a regular basis, wearing protection devices, masks, and gloves at all times. We used to assign one caregiver to more than one client. For example, if they were doing 3 days a
Right.
week,
Yeah, I
four
didn't think
hours,
of that, but yeah.
but
Yeah,
now
thank you.
we just give them only one client, in order to keep them from getting the virus, less contact with people. So you have to do whatever you can, and of course, we send them information about washing their hands and
Right.
keeping it clean and things like that. So this is the best we can do.
What you're doing, and I think by doing that change about one caregiver, about a caregiver not sharing their giving with
Yes,
more than one is, I mean, you're probably taking a little bit of hit on profit, but you're really putting yourself out there as someone who cares so much more for their clients than anything
yes.
else.
Oh, and another thing we did, for example, some caregivers, they were using public transportation,
Yeah, I
getting
wonder
on a
about that
bus,
sometimes.
or sometimes even using ride sharing. So we at times we hired some, like a private
Uh-huh.
driver, so who can pick up the caregivers, drive them to
Wow, that's
the
great.
client, so they don't have to get into like another somebody else's car. They don't know who was there before, or use a bus. So
Yeah, so you're really going out in a big way to help.
protect the clients.
Yeah, protect the clients. And I mean that's great. And do either one of you guys have, you fellas, gentlemen, whatever we're going to call you, caregiver extraordinaires, have any tips for, especially, a lot of the people that focus on this show or our focus for our listeners is the retired or getting closer to retirement age. Do you have tips or words of wisdom for us? Because I am one of those. I am not only older, I'm very older. Just in general, I don't care how many times people hear some of these things, but let's hear what your recommendations are to keep us in general safe.
Arnold can answer that.
Yes, to keep in shape, you have to be physically healthy, do more exercising, walking, healthy foods, uh, not to be stressed out with what's happening right now. Relax and chill.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean it is tough. I mean, I guess if I want to be thought of as smart or wise, even though I had absolutely no control over this. I guess I picked a good year to be seriously ill, but so because I couldn't go out anyway. But that's kind of a joke. But my God, look at what's happening. So yeah, we have to, as you said earlier, keep washing, which I need to keep reminding myself because we all need. The thing is, even us oldies, unless they have a caregiver, we need to go out shopping. We need to go to the drugstore. I went out yesterday to the drugstore to get a flu shot. I would say probably get your flu shot as soon as possible if you can. There is a separate one for older people. Anything that will weaken your immune system, like getting the regular flu, will make you more susceptible to COVID-19, and nobody wants that. So I think you guys would agree there. But
Yes.
we've kind of already covered. But since we're talking about different healthcare in general, how do you think your company, 1Heart, excuse me, let me get my, there we go, what sets you apart from other home care companies?
For
Um,
one thing, of course, Arnold is expert in that because he's been doing being a client care manager for years. Is we not only train our caregivers more than the what's required by the state of California, but we put one client care manager for each client. So somebody is monitoring the care 24/7. Make sure it's
Wow.
good. Some
Yeah.
agency they just send some caregivers and that's it. Maybe check with them once a week or so.
Mhm.
Some I know some agencies they don't do evaluation, but we go through this very carefully. So that's the main thing.
Now, let me repeat something, a question, because I think it's so important for anybody out there who's thinking of getting into this business. Money is wonderful, but it isn't everything. It's not even close to everything. So, and I'll let both of you chip in here or chime in. How do you really feel when you are, which I'm sure you are, recognized as such a great help to families and as their elder care advisor, in the community in general? I think that kind of feedback when you get it is probably more important than anything else, except, of course, the health of the people you're looking over.
so
Arnold,
you
go
need
ahead.
to you need to have passion in helping other people. Of course, in this business, not only elderly people are our clients, but also people
Yeah,
who are in the rehabilitation stage when they get
right,
injured, they get surgery. So you have to have the compassion to help people,
right,
and the key word for this business is matching. You have to find the right caregiver for the client that needs care.
right. But that really makes you guys feel good, doesn't it?
Of
When you
course.
Of
know you're
course,
doing so good for the
of course.
community in general. Now, I am guilty of thinking of older people, and I should, and that's because this show is aimed at older people, and I do reverse mortgages or the home equity conversion because it seems like it's been proven that people live longer and they're healthier if they stay home. And earlier, I actually mentioned take that nursing home and shove it, but that's another story altogether. And you guys are the ones that keep people out of nursing homes and in their home where they want to be. So it's just such a great thing that your industry is doing, and we've already talked about how different you are than the others in the industry. So just looking at a bigger picture, do you really think One Heart brand has helped facilitate ease of doing business in general in this industry?
Yes.
Yes, very much. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it also, this is, I mean, let's face it, this is the Starbucks coffee business of this era. Um, this has got to be one of the largest industries as far as forward looking is concerned. We oldies are still alive. And I think they're supposed to be. I think the baby boomers are supposed to be taking over fairly soon for the largest group on this planet before too long. And my God, we all. I mean, unless there's some real bad news and we leave this, we earn our wings early. Unless we do that, we're going to need help, aren't we? And I
Yes.
think that is creating a huge need for what you do, a huge market to get into, and is really, really driving the growth of the industry. But what do you think is really driving the growth of your brand? And I think I can answer that, but I'll let you go ahead.
Cameron?
What helps the growth of our business of our
Yeah,
industry?
of your brand,
You
basically.
just
And we've,
nailed it because
yeah,
the the growth of the population, the elderly population, those who need care. Because before it was not like this. So that's where we come in.
It wasn't like this because people didn't live as long.
Exactly.
Now, some of us have told ourselves we're going to live forever, like the three of us talking here.
Yes.
I don't think that's 100% true, but you know what? I've told people if you can keep me alive just by putting my brain in an aquarium with wires coming out of it and I can still listen to music and look at things.
Yes.
That's a joke, of course. Keep me around. The thing is, we are being kept around a lot longer, and we need help to do that.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, so we have 1 minute to go. I want to thank you both so much. But I want to take part of this minute for you guys to go ahead and give your contact information one more time.
Before we do that, Arnold, do you want to mention the webinar, upcoming webinar quickly, please?
Yes, we do have a webinar again with Jay on Wednesday, October 28th at 4 p.m. Again, it will be on Wednesday, 4 p.m., October 28th. And my contact number again is 949-2323. My email address is arnold.n@1heartcares.com.
Guys, I really enjoyed it. Let me go back to some wisdom I learned as an lion. I'm not crazy, but it's still the only place to get a decent meal. And in the meantime, Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week with more great guests. Thank you, Sean, so much. The best here in the business. And most of all, thanks to all the listeners and our two guests today. Take care of yourself, okay? We all need you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.